What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel once again. Today we are going to do an update on a previous video I did a few months back about the capsules, what we have in the game, and what is our current best in slot setups, whether you want to be an offensive minded player, defensive minded player, or a balanced player. With the recent update with the geometric labyrinth, we got a whole new set of capsules, that being the Trias Augment capsule series. There is a bunch of different ones. We have some that reduce HP, photon power, damage resist, as well as floor potency, but they all offer 2.25% potency, and this is a game changer for a lot of builds out there. So I wanted to make this video and I wanted to talk about what are some good augment builds that anybody could do right now and very soon can get into some of the best builds, because we did get the announcement that the support scratcher is coming back, which will also have all of those addy capsules, those 2.5% potency capsules. Those will be making a return in less than a week. So almost all build options are going to be available for anybody in the game. Whew, I need to take a breath. I'm very excited to show you all this. So let's get into the video. So first things first, I hope you guys are having a wonderful time with the geometric labyrinth. I'm actually really surprised that the capsules drop so easily here, and I'm very thankful for that because I'm planning on holding on to those for the level 60 meta. But let's get right into how to augment. Not everybody is a veteran to this game, so I want to do a very quick clarification on how do we augment in this game. So up on this screen, I made a nice little list here with all of the augment categories, with all the augments that fit within that category. And why that is important is because augment categories only allow one augment of that category per equipment item. The only exclusion to this is the basic augment category, which will allow you to have multiple types of augments from this category within one item. There is some exclusions to this, such as what I like to call them the capsule families. And let me show you an example of that. Say if we were to only look at some of the might capsules in this basic augment category, I like to call this a family, the might family, because if you were to try to select all of these and go to augment, it will only allow you to choose one of those mights. This is not the case with the stamina from this example. Since I am using stamina might, I can also pick a stamina capsule and they're completely different. But that might capsule, since they share the same name, you cannot use them. And this is what you're going to encounter a lot of the time when you're using these other categories. You can only use one capsule from those categories. So when you are augmenting or planning on augmenting, there is some restriction in how you build. So let me show you an example of how you would augment if you were to pick 5 capsules right now and put them on your gear. So I am going to be choosing 5 capsules to add to my Kukurosiat spear that I just enhanced to plus 50, and I want to gear it out. So I am going to pick these 5 souls right here. I have Stamina Might, Alt Secreta 3, Gigas Might 3, Dust Soul 3, and Tria Staramel. And you can see here that I have one capsule in all different categories, so there will be no augment problems here. None of these will overlap one another, and they will all be in separate categories, so I will be able to choose all 5 when it comes to that add augment screen. And as you can see here, I can choose all 5 and there are no issues. Now moving forward, let's talk about some of our best in slot capsules for varying play types, and we'll start with offensive capsules. I'm going to be ranking these by their potency value. We do have a select few amount of capsules that are 2.5% potency. That would be any level 3 boss soul, Gigastat level 3, Addy capsules are 2.5% potency, as well as Mastery 4. These are our creme de la creme when it comes to offensive capsules, but these are very expensive. At least 2 of them, those Addy capsules and Mastery 4, are pretty darn unachievable. The next tier of potency capsules are going to be the Tria capsules, since they are 2.25% potency. They are going to be added into a lot of builds if you're trying to get just a few more percentage of potency in your build. And then the Eratisol 3 is here. It is an all potency capsule, so it is really good for multi-type weapons, but it is 0.25% potency weaker than the single potency type boss soul capsules. Next, we have 2% potency capsules, which would be the stat 3 or the variants of those stat 3 capsules, that being the deft, stamina, spirit, and guard versions. Those are all 2% potency, and then some additional stats if you have the variants. And Alt Secret of 3. Now, Alt Secret of 3 is a really good capsule because it does have floor potency as well, but you will see with almost every build, Alt Secret of 3 is thrown in there because you're going to have to choose a 2% capsule when it comes to your build. Alt Secret of 3 would be your choice. There are some additional offensive capsules to keep in mind depending on where we are in the metagame. First and foremost, the exploit capsules. These give 2.5% potency to one element type. So when we are in seasonal events where everything and all the bosses are weak to that one element type, exploit capsules become one of our best capsules. And so you may have to switch that capsule out with another one if you're trying to get the most out of your build for that month. Next, you have the Domina capsules. This is a 1.5% potency, and this is multi-type potency. So if you're using a multi-type build, this is going to be one of your go-tos, as well as the Doable 3 capsules. They are 1.75% potency in 2 different types. So once again, if you are looking to do a multi-type build, you're gonna wanna go with doable capsules. Now let's look at some defensive capsules. And defensive capsules are a little bit harder to value because there's a lot of different things that go to defense. So I don't really have a tier list ranking as much as just what is good with what defensive stats we have. With that said, there are some standout capsules. The first one being Dreadkeeper 3. You're getting damage resist, which is defensive, and you're getting the most HP out of any capsule that we have in the game right now with 30 HP. So Dreadkeeper 3 is the best defensive capsule you could use if you wanted to go a bit tankier. With that said, Addy Stamina or Addy Guard capsules are really good as well. You'll either get 20 HP or 2.5% damage resist, as well as getting 2.5% potency, which makes it one of the best offensive and defensive capsules if you are trying to go into a more defensive or balanced build. The next tier of capsules I have here is the 15 HP capsules. We have quite a few here. We have the Retem Boss Soul capsules. No matter what rank they are, will always give you 15 HP. You have the Gigas level 3 capsules will give you 15 HP. Stamina, Might, Precision, and Technique will also give you 15 HP. And Ret Domina will give you 15 HP. You know, if you add these to all of your augments, you're getting a bunch of health on your build, as well as getting potency. So once again, adding these in if you are looking for a little bit more health is a wonderful option. And then the next set, I have just the percent damage resist options. You have the Forms 3 Boss Souls, which will give you 2% potency and 2.5% damage resist, which is the highest damage resist we have on capsules, while also being offensive minded. You have the Guard Might, Precision, and Technique capsules, which will give you 2% damage resist. And you have Mastery 4, which will give you 2.5% damage resist, but that is a very difficult capsule to get. Some notable defensive capsules that we do have would be the Dreadkeeper 2. It's much cheaper to get, still gives you 15 HP and 1.5% damage resist, so it is not a bad option if you are on a budget, but you're still trying to get some extra health and damage resist in your build. And I also threw in Alt Soul 3 here. It does provide 15 HP and 2.5 damage resist, but there is literally zero offensive value to that capsule. So do keep that in mind. Even though you want to be tanky, you need to make sure you can do damage. But it is there if you wanted to throw that on 1 or maybe 2 pieces of gear. It is a really good defensive soul. And the third section I have here is resistance capsules. Now, resistance hasn't really played an important part in New Genesis yet, but moving forward, we are going into the frozen region. Being frozen is one of the worst ailments that could happen to you, so resistance may play a part in our meta game soon, so I wanted to rank these as well. You have a couple really good options. The first one would be Sovereign Ward 3. This is going to give you 30% all resist. And the other one is the Addy Ward capsules, which will give you 20% all resist. These are actually the only 2 ways that you can get all resist for every single ailment. Other than that, I think it's the Svea weapon series that will give you 20% down resistance as well. So if we do go into the Tundra, who knows, maybe Svea series weapons will be really important for some content. Other than that, you have any of the Ward 3 versions, and they will provide 30% resist for that type. I think it's called Freeze Ward. That might be really important for the frozen region since you'll be able to get 30% freeze resist, and you can stack that obviously on multiple pieces of gear. So I'm going to bring back up the big sheet with all of the capsules, and on the left side we are going to be going through some of the best builds we currently have. The best offensive augment build we currently have involves a Boss Soul 3, Gigastat 3, Addy Deft Stat Capsule, and a Mastery 4 capsule. And if you had all of this, including 2% potency units such as Grius or Giant or the Schwartz series, you would finish with 70.5% potency and 98.9% variance. Now, variance is your minimum adjusted damage, or it's your floor potency, but it's the minimum amount of damage that you can do in any given attack. That is really good. You max out at 100% variance, so that is very close to our floor potency cap, and that is a bunch of potency. That build does a lot of damage, but it is very expensive. Addy capsules are worth over 10 million right now. Masteries are worth over 15 million per capsule. This is a build only for the most rich in the game. So the next best option is removing Mastery 4 and removing Addy, and this is where we are going to see those Tria augments come into play. And this is a build that most players in the game will be able to achieve pretty easily. It's including Boss Soul 3, Gigastat 3, Deft Stat 3. It's including Alt Secreta 3 and the Tria Augment series. Now, I am excluding the Deftro versions of these because you don't want that negative 1% floor potency if you are trying to go for the most offensive power. But you still have 3 different Tria Augment versions that you could use for this build. If you did this build, you would be at 65.5% potency and 87.9% variance, which is a really good build. Now, there is one capsule in this build that is still pretty darn expensive, and that is the Deft Stat capsule. Depending on your server, that's going to be 600 to 1 million meseta per capsule, and you're going to need 10 of those per item if you're trying to be safe with augmenting, so that is very expensive. So if you wanted a cheaper option of that build, you're just going to be replacing the Deft Stat capsule with a Stat 3 capsule. You're going to lose a little bit of floor potency, but it is a much cheaper build. You're going to finish with 65.5% potency, and your variance is going to be 81.2%. So you're getting that same top end damage, but the floor potency is a little bit lower. And now I wanted to add in a free to play or a just starting out build, because getting all of these capsules up to level 3 can be a very big time and money sink that not every player will have available to them at the beginning of the game. So if you're a new player, what you really should be setting your sights on is something like this build right here. You'd be trying to go for Boss Soul 2s, Gigastat 2s, Stat 3 capsules, Alt Secreta 2s, and the Tria augments. And this would give you a final build of 56.1% potency and 79.6% variance. This is insanely good. I want to be honest with you guys, there is pretty much no content in the game that would require you to have anything different than that build right there. I always tell people when they come into stream, you don't need anything more than 50% potency. As long as you invest time into your class and you get better at playing your class, 50% potency will carry you. So that build right there is more than serviceable in our content that we currently have. But let's dive deeper for a new player. How should you progress your augments on your gear? Because you're going to encounter a lot of content before you get to this 5-star gear. And some of the capsules you will see very early on, you need to hold on to those so that you can use them later in your endgame gear. So when you start New Genesis, augment simply for battle power and worry little about what stats that it provides. There are some capsules that you are going to want to hold on to for later augmentations, and some of those capsules are the Might, Precision, and Technique 3s, Alt Secreta 1s and 2s, and any Boss Soul 2. And so you're going to be using those when you reach 5-star gear and you're trying to build your endgame gear. And once you enter Retem, even more augments will become available to you that are very useful for new players. Some examples are the Alno notes, which are found in Retem Al Nath. It's a very good capsule for beginning and just getting some good stats on your gear as you're leveling up. You have the Forms, Sand, and Mechanized souls. So if you are not melee, you can get the technique and the ranged potency versions of that soul. These are really good souls for leveling up and getting started in the game, because the level 2 Forms souls will give you 2% potency and 2% damage resist, and they drop from both of the combat sectors, which is where you're going to be training. So this is really good for anybody new. And you will have the chance to drop the alt secret of 1, 2, and 3 line, and you're going to be using those for most of your builds as well. Now, one thing you need to also be doing is do your daily mineral gathering and use the Item Lab Enhancement Technician in both Central City or Retem City to exchange Augment capsules to save some Meseta. So you can actually upgrade all of the capsules to their level 3 version now in the game. And this is really important because this means that you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of Meseta for these capsules. As long as you are farming and gathering, you might be able to actually exchange up to the level 3 capsules, saving you a bit of money in exchange for a little bit of mineral gathering. So your augment build for progression should follow the previous example, and I'm including the Form Soul 2s here as well. And one final note, you may have to buy some stuff off of the personal shop, that being the Gigastat 2s and the Tria augments, but those should be affordable since everybody is going for the level 3 augment versions. The level 2 Gigastat capsules should be pretty darn affordable, and if they are not, no worries. You have plenty of other options when augmenting, and then when you have the Meseta, you can finally decide to go into these ones. And with all of that being said, I hope you learned something today. I hope you found it informative. Let me know down in the comments how you are doing with your augment builds, and how do you feel about these new Tria augments? I actually find them very unique. I have a feeling that we are going to be using these in capsule exchanges in the future. Some things lined up with the Doll's Soul and the Alt Soul series to make these new capsules not have their negative debuffs, and I'm holding on hope that maybe that's what we're going to see in an updated patch in May, but that is pure speculation. But yeah, let me know what you guys are doing with your builds with the new Tria series, how you guys enjoying the Geometric Labyrinth. And with all that said, guys, I will see you all in the next video real soon. Take care, everybody.